Welcome to Liberation Lens, where stories unfold beyond the headlines and perspective truly matters. History isn't finished, it's unfolding. This is Liberation Lens. Perspective matters.
This is Liberation Lens. Perspective matters. In today's documentary, we shed light on and provide perspective on the US military command in Africa, AFRICOM, cloaked in the language of counter-terrorism but entrenched in neo-colonial patterns. While claiming to defend African security, AFRICOM has spread its influence across more than 50 countries, not by invitation, but by strategy, protecting Western access to Africa's natural resources and suppressing voices of true independence. At the heart of this expose lies a troubling contradiction: the use of an African-American four-star general, the first ever appointed in 2022, to challenge the continent's most daring young leader, President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, a man reclaiming his country's destiny with courage and clarity. So, today, we ask, is AFRICOM securing Africa, or subduing it? Who defines terrorism, and who profits from it? And most importantly, what role must African youth play in liberating that continent from foreign control masked as friendship? Stay with us as we journey into one of the most urgent and misunderstood realities shaping Africa's present and future. This is Liberation Lens, and perspective matters. What if the war on terror is not what it seems? What if foreign troops sent to protect Africa are really there to extract, control, and destabilize? And what if the one young leader brave enough to resist is being targeted in plain sight? This is why we welcome you to Liberation Lens, Perspective Matters, where we pull back the curtain on power, propaganda, and betrayal. And so, we unravel AFRICOM's story, its hidden interests, and the recent Senate controversy involving its African-American commander, General Michael E. Langley, and Burkina Faso's revolutionary president, Ibrahim Traoré. We begin with AFRICOM's quiet expansion tendencies. Note that AFRICOM was never invited. It was imposed. AFRICOM was launched in 2007, allegedly to help African nations combat terrorism and enhance regional stability. But its headquarters is in Germany, not Africa. And no African country originally wanted to host it. But you know what it is and how it works. It's a life or death situation. Almost all African presidents would choose a luxurious lifestyle for themselves over the plight of their people and development of their nations. Today, AFRICOM operates in over 50 African countries, using secretive drone bases, special forces, and training missions. But what is it really doing? The answer is living in us all. AFRICOM is securing strategic minerals like cobalt, uranium, and lithium, vital for the US tech and weapons industries. It maintains military dominance to counter the rising influence of China and Russia in Africa. It supports regimes that serve Western interests and undermines those that don't. How about its role on coups, killings, and control? When African leaders challenge imperialism, they don't live long. Patrice Lumumba, Congo's independence leader, was murdered in 1961 with US and Belgian backing. His crime? Demanding economic control for Congolese people. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's visionary leader, was assassinated in 1987. He rejected IMF loans, expelled French forces, and redistributed land. Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was toppled and brutally killed in 2011 after proposing a united African currency backed by gold alongside other plans for Africa. What do these leaders have in common? They opposed Western control of Africa's resources. They dreamed of a truly sovereign continent. And they were all systematically removed. Now, let's look at the symbolism of AFRICOM's first African-American commander. Note that representation without liberation is manipulation. In 2022, General Michael Langley became the first African-American four-star general in the Marine Corps and was appointed head of AFRICOM. Many saw this as a milestone. But beneath the symbolism lies a painful irony. A descendant of strong, intelligent, smart, and hard-working African people subdued as slaves now commands troops across the very continent his ancestors were forcefully stolen from. Yet, he upholds the same imperial structures that continue to exploit Africa. In 2025, Langley publicly attacked Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traoré, in a US Senate hearing, claiming Traoré was misusing national gold reserves. Quite laughable, isn't it? Does America really care about the livelihood of Africans and their descendants? But Traoré is doing something no one else dares. He has expelled French troops, kicked out foreign NGOs that serve Western interests, and started nationalizing key sectors. All in the interest and livelihood of his people. Isn't that great? Under his leadership, terrorism has declined, infrastructure has grown, and national pride has soared. Now, let's examine Ibrahim Traoré as Africa's revolutionary flame. First and foremost, he is likened to a new Sankara risen in Ouagadougou. At only 35 years old, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is Africa's youngest head of state. He leads with courage, humility, and love for his people. In less than 2 years, he has restored security to major regions, improved rural electrification and agriculture, raised salaries for civil servants and teachers. Note that this increase is part of his broader economic reforms, which also include reducing salaries for ministers and parliamentarians by 30%. Yet he's painted as a military strongman, because he defies the West. Because he won't bow. Because he embodies the very Pan-African unity that colonial powers fear. Our gold, our land, our dignity is not for sale, he reminds them. Now, let's examine AFRICOM's real agenda as the mask falls of its face. AFRICOM claims it's helping fight terrorism. But why has terrorism increased in every country they're active in? Why are African leaders like Traoré more effective than $1 billion US military machine? Why does AFRICOM not help train civilian institutions, but instead builds military dependency? Here with some truth. AFRICOM is not in Africa for Africans. It is there for Western access, resource security, and geopolitical leverage. And now, it's using one of our own to attack the only leader showing us a way out. Now, this is a warning word to the African youth of this generation, the social media generation. Beware of wolves in our own skin. To every African youth watching this, don't be deceived by military uniforms or empty partnerships. Look at what leaders do, not what Western media says. Traoré is not perfect. But he is ours. And he is fighting for us. We must judge him on our own terms, not on the terms of others. The situation is ours, not theirs. Therefore, we know what to tolerate or endure, and what not to. What must we then do? We must support revolutionary leadership that centers dignity, sovereignty, and justice. Reject foreign puppets and military solutions imposed by foreign powers. We must organize in communities, build independent media, and protect our truth. We must demand for an Africa where soldiers protect people, not imperial interests. The future of Africa will not be dictated in Berlin, Paris, or Washington. It will be decided in Bobo Dioulasso, Nairobi, Lagos, and Kinshasa, for example. This is Liberation Lens. And this is our call to conscience. Perspective matters. Let me know your thoughts. Comment, like, and share. Let's help educate ourselves for a better homeland, Mama Africa.
You have just seen the world through a different lens. Subscribe, comment, share, and help amplify voices that deserve to be heard. Until next time, keep looking deeper. Liberation Lens. Perspective matters.